So now let's get into creating a simple keyboard bass pattern. We're going to do this using Reason as opposed to hooking up an external MIDI device. So if you haven't added the NNXT sampler yet, just go to Create, scroll down to NNXT Advanced Sampler, and choose that. Should put it somewhere in your rack. So once you have that in there, just scroll Browse Patch, scroll down to your Reason Factory Sound Bank folder, your NNXT sampler patches, bass, and choose that finger bass patch. Open that up, put it in there, and now let's expand this bottom window all the way down here up, and then choose your icon all the way to the left, should say switch to edit mode, and that should bring up our virtual keyboard. These C4, C3, C2, these are the keyboard octaves. So let's scroll down a little bit because we want C2, C3, which sounds a little bit deeper, which is good for a keyboard bass. So now let's just switch to the pencil tool icon up here, and let's draw a simple pattern. So let's start on the C2 octave and just draw 4 boxes starting at measure 1 of the note D. And let's go down 2 rows to C, do the same thing, 4 measures at measure 2. And let's go up 5 rows to, let's say, F, and we'll do the same thing, 4 boxes starting at measure 3. And now let's go up 2 rows to G, starting at measure 4, and we draw 4 boxes. So we have 4 boxes D, 4 boxes C, 4 boxes F, and 4 boxes G. And once we have that, let's hit the selection tool, and let's highlight them all. You can also hit the Shift key, and let's copy and paste, starting at bar 5, which gives us an 8 measure pattern. So now at measure 9, let's switch it up a bit. Let's hit this magnifying glass down here, which should change it to 8 boxes per 1 measure as opposed to 4. And let's also hit this magnifying glass up here, which enables us to actually see what we're doing. So for bar 9, let's switch it up a bit. Let's go up to the C3 octave, and we're going to start with 3 boxes for C. I'm just going to draw 3 boxes up there. And then I'm going to go up 1 row and draw 5 boxes. And then I'm going to go up 1 row again at measure 10 and draw 3 boxes again. And then I'm going to go back down 1 row and finish that sequence with 5 boxes. So once again, it's 3 boxes starting at measure 9, and then 5 boxes where that leaves off to end measure 9, and then 3 boxes to begin measure 10, and 5 boxes down 1 row to end that sequence. So let's select it again. Let's instead just choose the Shift key, select them all, and paste them, copy and paste them starting at bar 11, and also copy and paste them starting at bar 13. And now we should have 14 measures. Starting at bar 13, let's do a little bass harmony. So why don't we choose the pencil tool, and what we're going to do is just start this. We're going to do the same sequence, but we're going to start 3 rows up. So I'm going to start here for 3 boxes. I'm going to go 1 row up again for 5 boxes. 1 row up again for 3 boxes, and down 1 row for 5 boxes. And once we have that in there, let's choose the selection icon up here again, and just hit the Shift key, choose all the notes that we just did for measures 13 and 14, copy that and paste it starting at bar 15. So now we should have a 16 measure pattern. So now let's click on the Redrum icon here, so we can program in our Redrum bank patterns that we did in the previous lessons. So remember, bank pattern A1 and A2 are pretty much identical, except A2 has that open hi-hat sound at the end. So let's have that pattern every 4 measures. So let's click back to the pencil tool icon, and let's scroll this window up a little bit, and let's choose bank pattern A1, and just click it anywhere in there in that window. And what that does is actually Reason by default will automatically write it for your entire piece, but that's fine because we can overwrite where we want. So now click A2 and write it into measure 4. So I'm going to click A2 and write that into measure 4, and also write that into measure 8. Okay, so now remember, Redrum pattern A3 is a little different, a little more funky, so that will go well with the that chromatic section, the one that we just did with one row up and then another row up. So let's write that in starting at measure 9, and that's going to end at measure 17. So I'm going to choose pattern A3, and I'm going to write that in. Actually, if it's not exact, you can nudge them forward or back, whichever you need to. And I'm going to end that at measure 17. You can also move our endpoint for now, so the composition will end after measure 17. I'm sorry, after measure 16. So we have 16 measure composition. And let's hear how that sounds. Let's hear all the work we did. Open the hi-hat. Bass harmony. So that's it. Of course, you can feel free to add to this composition and make it a full composition. And of course, there's so much more to know. But for now, that's it for these 3 beginner tutorials. I thank you guys for being patient. I know it took me a while to get these lessons up, but I hope you guys learned something new. Feel free to comment with any questions you might have, and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks.